Hey guys, welcome back to Human Condition. This video is another video in our biology series. This video is what is adrenaline and how do we stay energized? So this should be a pretty interesting one. Hopefully this video goes out to you guys. My last couple videos haven't been pushed out as much. I guess it's probably my fault for not being consistent enough, but yeah. So in this video, what is adrenaline? How do we stay energized? Adrenaline is the primary energizing hormone. I'd argue it's, in my opinion at least, it's more keeps us more motivated than my last video, norepinephrine, just a tad, at least with energy wise. It gives us energy. So adrenaline, in this video we talk about three main topics: the fight or flight response, the release of adrenaline, and the side effects of too much adrenaline. So yeah, first off, the fight or flight response. Adrenaline is kicked in when our survival instincts are challenged. So adrenaline is like the cool lit hormone that you have when something is threatening you in a high, like a very intensely, and you have to defend yourself. Adrenaline releases, and that's the fight or flight response. It constricts blood vessels, and your heart starts pounding more, so your body's ready for and prepared for whatever you have to face, which is pretty interesting. The second thing is how it's released. It's released from the adrenal glands, and also a little bit from the brain as well. And the side effects of too muchness is dizziness, headaches, fatigue, restlessness, anger are all side effects of too much adrenaline. Another cool thing about adrenaline that I learned recently is I was going to say, what is adrenaline and why do we get angry? But adrenaline's not just the angry hormone, I used to think. Adrenaline's often released when we're angry, and that it can be associated with the anger hormone, I guess, technically. But I think it's better, at least when I was researching it, to call it the energy hormone, because it's released with any high emotion, or the emotion hormone. So fear, high stress, and high excitement, and high anger all release adrenaline. So that's why it's called like an adrenaline rush. So when you're in like the infatuation stage of like talking to more romantic interests, it's usually adrenaline that keeps you energized. The adrenaline rush is actually dopamine, norepinephrine, and adrenaline when released in like the infatuation stage when you're dating this person or like just talking to people that you're interested in romantically. It's adrenaline that keeps you energized, and norepinephrine and dopamine, which I thought was pretty cool. So the feeling of, I really like this person. We're talking to one person. It's pretty cool because it's high levels of adrenaline that keeps you energized to pursue someone, and dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine to keep you motivated for like the rewarding part of pursuing someone. Norepinephrine keeps you focused and memory right on pursuing someone, and then adrenaline gives you the energy to actually do so, which I thought was pretty cool. Three different ways they work together. Another thing with adrenaline, it was when you listen to a sad song and it's like, this song really speaks to me. That's actually in the feeling of chills, like, that's beautiful. That is adrenaline, but the feeling of chills is actually adrenaline, which I didn't know because I thought adrenaline was just when you get angry. And the final cool thing about adrenaline is you would think adrenaline's only like responds in like extreme bad scenarios. However, it's also just released in day-to-day life. I thought adrenaline, which I still think it might be, is one of the released on the hormones that is released the least. However, adrenaline is actually released quite often. Whenever you get angry, like, dang, why'd you do that, bro? That's adrenaline, which I find pretty cool. So adrenaline can be considered the anger hormone technically. However, it can also be just the emotion hormone or the energy hormone, because adrenaline is how we get motivated to achieve new things. And I think anger is an emotion that helps us motivate to actually get things done and to express what we desire. So adrenaline could be seen as the hormone that helps us take charge of our life, which is pretty cool. So in conclusion, adrenaline is energy hormone, in my opinion. I could be wrong. It keeps us energized. and having high levels of adrenaline, like adrenaline rush, actually feels good sometimes. The bad part about this adrenaline rush, I forgot to mention, is if you're not careful when you're on an adrenaline rush, you can easily turn to high levels of anxiety. So that feel good of infatuation, like, in the word, like, oh, I hope this person texts me back, or whatever that is, that's from the adrenaline being changed from excitement to anxiety. So the tough part is if you let that excitement turn to anxiety, it can be pretty brutal. So the key is to make sure, if you're on a high, I guess, keep the excitement and try your best not to let it turn to worry, because it might easily switch over to worry. So adrenaline gives us adrenaline rush and excitement. It also is released when we're angry. Every minor anger thing, like, oh, why did this person pull out in front of me? Why'd you do that, bro? That's releases small amounts of adrenaline, or like motivation, sort of, in a way, or energy. It's released when we're feeling high levels of emotions, maybe even sadness. It also is the main job is to keep us energized and to protect ourselves. Because back in the day, we had to survive and hunt. So adrenaline helped us protect ourselves, survive, hunt, and stay energized. Hopefully you guys see this video. Hopefully it gets pushed out to you guys. Recently they haven't been pushed out as much, but I guess probably my fault for not being consistent enough. But as always, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.